Hey, Huckster here. This is a video about evil Christianity and why I believe modern day Christianity is evil. Much of past Christianity is evil. True Christianity is not evil, but men's form of Christianity is just evil. While today there are some Christians who preach a gospel of love, they usually ignore the vast part of Christian beliefs throughout most of the past 2,000 years. The motor driving Christianity has been, in addition to the fear of death, the fear of the last days, the destruction of the earth, there's a fear of the devil, the fear of hell. You can only imagine how potent these threats were before the rise of science and rational thinking. Science and rational thinking has pretty much robbed a lot of Christian preachers of their power to inspire terror among their congregations. People are beginning to think rationally. They're beginning to study. They have access to Greek and Hebrew manuscripts to know what the Word really says. A lot of preachers are leftover junkies from a bygone age where a preacher just learnt from the preacher before him, from their parents and their parents before them, never really knowing what the Word actually says. And even today, the existence of the tenets of almost all Christian creeds and many fundamental preachers' beliefs, preachers still openly resort to terrorizing their followers with horrid, sadistic portraits of the suffering of the non-believers after death. By doing that, it's not an attempt on their behalf to convince through logic and reason. It's not an attempt to appeal to the better nature of individuals, but rather it's an attempt to whip the flock into line by threats and through the appeal to a base part of the human nature, which is fear and cowardice. Christianity has a bad habit of preying on the innocent. Christian fear-mongering is not directed solely at the adult Christian, but and that would be bad enough, but Christians routinely terrorize helpless children through grisly depictions of the endless horrors and suffering they will be subjected to if they don't live good Christian lives. Christianity has darkened the early years of generations of children who have lived in terror. A terror of simply dying, which everybody has to do. They've been preached that if they die while they're in their mortal sin, they're going to an endless torment as a result. These children all through the years were trusting of their parents, trusting of the adults. They didn't have the ability to analyze what they were being told. They were simply helpless victims who, ironically, grows up to victimize the next generation in the same way that they themselves had been victimized. Almost 2,000 years of Christianity terrorizing children ranks as one of the greatest crimes in history. It's a crime that continues today. A Christian writer in the 19th century wrote a book. Was the children's book of spiritual reading, and there was a Reverend J. Furness who wrote this book, and he wrote, if you look into this little prison, in the middle of it there is a boy, a young man. He is silent. Despair is on him. His eyes are burning like two burning coals. Two long flames come out of his ears. His breathing is difficult. Sometimes he opens his mouth and a breath of blazing fire rolls out of it. But listen, there is a sound just like that of a kettle boiling. Is it really a kettle which is boiling? No. Then what is it? Hear what it is. The blood is boiling in the scalding veins of that boy. The brain is boiling and bubbling in his head. The marrow is boiling in his bones. Ask him why he is thus tormented. His answer is that when he was alive, his blood boiled to do very wicked things. There's a lot of there's a lot of similar passages in that book. And a vicar of Dublin said that he had carefully read the book for children, and that he had found nothing whatsoever in it contrary to the doctrines of the Holy Faith. He said, but on the contrary, a great deal to charm, instruct, and edify the youthful classes for whose benefit it has been written. Christianity, in a large part, has been based on dishonesty. They can't compel somebody to believe through reason and love and understanding. They have to use the fear of hell, the fear of the world coming to an end, the fear of devils, and most of all, the fear of death. Shame on evil Christians, who are the vast majority of Christians today. From my own experience, talking with people, talking with pastors, talking with church members, talking with everyday people. This is what they believe. This is what they teach. It's the biggest crime that's ever been committed on the human race. Peace, love, justice, understanding, music, and friends.